Welcome back to section 3. There's only one lesson in this section and we're going to be taking a look at active learning. Okay guys, I'm going to be the first one to admit that not every lesson that you sit in at school and not every teacher is really interesting, and it is really easy to tune out in lessons. But there is a problem with this, because if you tune out in a lesson, they're not concentrating on what your teacher is saying. And the problem with this is that when it comes time to learn, or when it comes time to do homework, the information to you is then completely brand new. And you then have to work twice as hard with that information in order to learn from it or in order to work with it. So it is really important for you to concentrate in class. The more you concentrate in class, the less work you have to do at home. And the less work you have to do at home, it frees up more time for you. So how do we concentrate during boring lessons? Quite simply, we take a look at something called the Cornell system.
And now the Cornell system really works well at helping you to focus in class, because it is a note-taking system. So how does a Cornell system work? You will notice that it is divided up into different columns. The small column on the left-hand side is for you to note anything that your teacher has stressed as being important. So anytime she said, listen up, this is important, take note of this, and any questions that your teacher poses on the board or verbally, you jot down in that left column. So say for example, your teacher says to you, guys, listen up, Nelson Mandela's release date is important. Or she writes on the board, who was the president of South Africa at the time of his release? You're going to want to write those things down, because things are important, and questions that your teacher poses normally land up finding their way into tests and exams. The large column on the right hand side, that is for note taking. So while your teacher is busy teaching, you jot down notes. You can jot down notes in the form of little diagrams, or otherwise just using short sentences or keywords. So things like, was released on 11 Feb 1990, F.W. de Klerk was president, are fine. All it's making you do is forcing you to concentrate on what your teacher is saying. The little column right at the bottom, this is where you're going to jot a summary. And by jotting a summary, it just helps to set in your brain exactly what you did in class that day. So a little 1 or 2 sentence summary is fine. Saying something like, F.W. de Klerk ordered Madiba's release. After 27 years, he was freed on the 11th of February 1990. That is sufficient. Quickly write it down before you get up and leave the class. The Cornell system is brilliant at helping you keep focused. Not only that, it already has helped you to start summarizing notes for when you got to learn for your tests and exams. So what are other ways that you are able to stay alert when you're learning and in class as well? So this is what we're going to take a quick look at now. We're going to take a look at 5 steps to staying awake. If you want to follow in your PDF, you'll find it on page 3 and 4. Steps 1 and 2 are relate and relate. So the first relate is relating old information to new information. Your brain likes to do this. It helps your brain make sense of the new information. So your teacher says, today we're going to be doing stock farming. Take 5 seconds to quickly think back on that primary school trip when you went to the dairy farm, where the cows were, what did they look like, what were they being fed, what were their surroundings like. And by doing that, any new information that comes in, your brain will attach it to the old information, helping you to remember the information better. The second relate is relating information that you were given in class yesterday to the new information that you're getting in class today. So your teacher says, okay guys, today in science we're going to be testing acidity and alkalinity. Quickly think back to yesterday's lesson. You can also write it on your Cornell system quickly. What did your teacher say is an acid? What is a base? What are they characterized by? And once again, this helps your brain to attach the new information to the old information and helps your brain to make more sense of that information. Number 3 is listen and write. And this is when we use the Cornell system, so I'm not going to go over that in too much detail. Remember, really important, take note when your teacher says now listen up, or this is important. Those are the things that you definitely want to write in your Cornell system to remember. Number 4, summarize notes daily. I know that your lives can get really hectic, but you have to try and make time in your planning to summarize your notes on a daily basis. It really helps when it comes to tests and exams. It may take a bit more time during your homework time, but I promise you, if you summarize what you have done in that day at school, by the time you get to a test or exam, you won't have to spend hours and hours learning, because that information will be set in your long-term memory. Number 5 is investigate. And I can't stress this enough, and you'll see I mention it often during the study skills course, is that if you don't know something, figure it out, investigate it, look it up, find YouTube videos on it. There for maths and science, there's a wonderful site called Khan Academy. Go onto Khan Academy, look for their videos, try and figure out things you don't understand. Don't just leave them. If after you've investigated you still don't understand, it's important then to approach your teacher and ask your teacher to explain. When you leave things unexplained, you are unable to carry on. You can't go on to the next lesson if you didn't understand the lesson on the previous day. So as soon as you find out there is something that you don't understand, figure it out. Guys, these tips and being active and doing the Cornell system will really help you free up time after school to do the things that you want to do, because you're going to find you're not going to have to spend that much time learning. The more active you are in class and the more active you are with your learning, the quicker your brain will get hold of that information and learn it.